Hello, welcome to another video by LSX Engines, Tuning and Marine. In this video I'm going to show you how to install the valve train on an LS engine. This is an LS2 specification. It's an iron block LQ4 I think, but it's got LS2 pistons, rods, heads, and camshaft. So everything except the block on this engine is a LS2 specification part. So at this time, I'm going to install the rocker arms on the passenger side. I've already done the driver's side because it was dark last night and I want to go ahead and get that side done. And I'll go ahead and repeat the same process for the passenger side so you can see how I do it. So the goal of doing installing your rocker arms on LS motors, you want to install them to the rocker arms on a particular cylinder. So this would be one cylinder, that would be another cylinder, and so on. You want to install the two rocker arms so that you tighten them down when they're least stressed, meaning the valves would normally be closed in that situation. And so what you do is you have to find a starting point in the firing order, and then you chase the firing order around in that order and tighten them down in the order of the firing order. And fortunately I have a mark on this. This harmonic balancer is installed as no keyway, so it just happened to I just happened to get lucky and had this marked at a certain convenient point. And I'll show you what that means in a minute. But so if you watched another video about indexing 58.2 trigger wheel that I did, when you look inside the crank position sensor hole, which is right there, you can see teeth right now. But if I find the gap in that crank, I know that I'm either top dead center on I'm gonna be top dead center on number 2 and number 3 at the same time. It's just I don't know which side of the firing order I'm on. I could be firing on number 2 or I could be firing number 3. So you need to know which one you're firing on. So at this time, I'm gonna rotate this engine, and I'm kind of cheating a little bit because since I've already got, this is 1 and that's 3. Since I've already got 3 done, I can see if 3 is rocking and tell me where I'm at in the firing order. So let me go ahead and rotate this engine around and I'll show you what I mean. So what I've done, I've put a torque wrench on the front of the motor, and I'm going to rotate the engine, and I'll watch number 3, which is these two right here. So I'm rotating. So now, number 3 exhaust valve is just starting to move. So when it gets all the way down, that's, let's see, no, excuse me, it's starting to move. So when it comes open and then all the way back to the top, when it almost starts to when it's almost closed, that means that cylinder will be at top dead center. So I'll be looking at, since 3 is moving, I'm going to be looking for number 2. So let's do that. 3 exhaust valves moving down. Still moving down. I don't know if you can see that. It's moving down. So you get a reference point. And it's coming back up. So as it's coming back up, that means the piston's rising to the top, and it's going to be at top dead center very soon. So what I'm going to come back over here and look for is the gap in this trigger wheel. Yeah, I don't know if you can focus on that. Try to get the focus here, right in there. I still see teeth. So what I'm gonna do is keep rotating the crank until I see the gap. So I'm gonna stop the camera and get this gap in that hole so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, now that I've got it set, if you look in there, you don't see any teeth. You see maybe a Sharpie line. I do anyway. See if you can get up in there. There's a line right there. That's where I drew with a Sharpie. So that when that line is right in the center of this crankshaft position sensor hole, I know that number 2 or number 3 are top dead center, but I want to know which cylinder is firing. And since the valves on 3 were just rocking, I know that 2 is firing. So I'm going to start with 2. So the goal is to starting with 2, work my way around the firing order and tighten these valves up or tighten these rock arms when that cylinder is firing, or is at top dead center on its firing stroke. So since I know that 2 is firing right now, I'm going to go ahead and tighten down. We'll go ahead and tighten down the. See, I've lost my wrench here. I'm going to go ahead and tighten down the rocker arm number 2. It's pretty tight as I want to get it for now. I'll torque it later. So what just happened was, as I tightened that valve, you can see that the valve has been depressed a little bit. So what's happening is that I compress there's a lifter, a hydraulic lifter, and I'll show you that here. So inside this lifter is a plunger. There's the plunger right there. So when you tighten up a valve like that, you're depressing this plunger inside the lifter. And obviously you don't want to depress it too far, because then you'll run out of play and your valve will be stuck open. But as that lifter plunger is pushed in, that valve will go down, but it'll spring back out. Because this spring is pushing up to push that plunger down, and that plunger will go on down as the spring pushes. So now you can see they're back to level. So that hydraulic valve is now adjusted. These are non-adjustable rockers, so you just have to hope that your push rods are the right length so that you don't bottom out your valves. If the push rods are too long, you'll just hold your valve open and you lose compression. If they're too short, this thing will never tighten up and it'll be loose all the time. So since this is not loose, I know my push rod is not too short. And these are the push rods that came out of my last engine with the same head, same crank and all that, so I'm pretty certain they're okay. All right, so that's number 2. So this is number 8. So the firing order of an LS motor, and I'm doing this on memory, is 1872 6543. So 1872 6543. All right, I had to take a break and figure out what I was going to do here. So what I did, I started from 2 and I followed the firing order and rotated the engine around until I have number 8 on its firing stroke. So I can now adjust this valve on 8. So what I'm trying to do is I've got this one on the end, and that one in. I'm trying to tighten them down first so I can get this bar. See, this bar moves around here. It's not moving now because I got this one tight, but the goal is for me to tighten the 2 ends so I can get this bar as centered on those holes as possible. And then I can install the rest of these rock arms. So that's what I'm doing. So I've got 8 now on the firing stroke. I can now tighten down this rock arm on 8, and that'll hold my bar stationary while I install the rest of my rock arms. All right, as I was saying, I'm tightening down the rockers on the top dead center of the firing cylinder. So since I was on 8 and I was tightening this one, since I'm already on 8, I went ahead and installed I think that would be that's the exhaust on 8. So I went ahead and tightened that one. I tightened that one down first, and then I went ahead and installed and tightened this one down. So that takes care of 8. So the firing order is 1872. 7's already done over there, so I went ahead and rotated over 2, and now I'm on 2. So I've installed both of these rock arms. So now I've got 8 and 2 on the passenger side of the engine. So the next cylinder in the firing order, 18726, is 6. So it'll be these 2. 6, then 5's over there, then 4 back to here. So 6, 5, 4. So what I'm about to do is rotate the engine. Actually, I think I already did. I rotated the engine. With this dot right here is at the top. It's 1 and 6 at top dead center. So I know number 6 right now is at top dead center. I'm going to install these 2 rocker arms, tighten them down, rotate this engine through 90 degrees. That will be on 6, 5, and rotate another 90 degrees to get to 4, and I can do 4, which is this one, and it'll be done. So that'll be the passenger side of the engine. And that's how I do it. I don't know that you have to do it this way. I just feel like I want to put my rock arms on so that these valves are not stressing these rockers very much. The only pressure I'm getting is from the play in the lifter. And I believe the spring in that lifter is not that strong. So it's not the spring that's strong, it's the orifice in the lifter that doesn't let the oil bleed off. It's tight, and then it bleeds as the plunger sinks in, it's bleeding out through the orifice. All right, so I'm about to install the last 4 rock arms, and then I'll torque them all down and let you know what that torque is.